Some stories stick with you, seeping into your mind and keeping you up at night. The Amityville Horror is one of those stories. A tale that goes far beyond fiction. A chilling account of what some believe to be one of the most terrifying hauntings in modern history. What really happened in that house at 112 Ocean Avenue? Could the dark events that unfolded be explained by the paranormal? Or is it all a twisted tale? As we dive into this nightmare, just remember, these events are based on real people, real places, and possibly real terror. It all started in 1974, when a grisly crime shocked the quiet town of Amityville, New York. Ronald DeFeo Jr. shot and killed his entire family, his parents and 4 siblings, while they slept in their beds. He later claimed that he heard voices in the house, urging him to commit the unspeakable act. The house at 112 Ocean Avenue, where the DeFeos had lived, was now stained with blood and an eerie sense of dread. Just 1 year later, the Lutz family moved into the same house, unaware of the nightmare that was about to unfold. In December 1975, George and Kathy Lutz, along with their 3 children, moved into the infamous house. The beautiful Dutch colonial home seemed like a dream come true, especially for the price. Despite knowing about the DeFeo murders, the Lutzes believed they could make it a happy home. However, they were wrong. Terribly wrong. It didn't take long for the house to show its true nature. On the first night, the Lutzes noticed strange occurrences. Doors that had been securely locked would suddenly swing open, windows slammed shut without explanation, and the cold, oh, the cold, seemed to seep from the walls, no matter how high they turned up the heat. George, in particular, was affected. He became increasingly irritable and obsessed with the temperature, constantly stoking the fire to keep warm, even though the house was freezing. Then came the strange odors, foul, rotting smells that would materialize and vanish without warning. And those weren't the only things that seemed to appear and disappear. Kathy started noticing green slime oozing from the walls, a phenomenon that defied any rational explanation. But things only got worse. Within days of moving in, the Lutzes began to experience disturbing, violent phenomena. George would wake up every morning at exactly 3:15 a.m., the same time the DeFeo murders had taken place. He would hear banging noises and strange whispers, as if the house itself was trying to communicate something horrible. Kathy, meanwhile, was plagued by terrifying visions. One night, she woke up screaming, her face covered in scratches. She claimed to have seen a demonic figure standing at the foot of her bed. Her children were not spared either. They, too, reported seeing red, glowing eyes staring at them through their windows at night, eyes that didn't belong to any human or animal. The youngest daughter, Missy, befriended an imaginary entity named Jody, a pig-like creature with glowing red eyes. At first, the Lutzes thought it was just a child's imagination, but Missy insisted Jody was real. One night, George looked out the window and saw 2 glowing red eyes staring back at him from the darkness. As the days went by, George's behavior became more erratic. He isolated himself from his family, spending hours chopping wood, staring into the fire, and becoming more aggressive. He would go long periods without sleeping or eating, consumed by something none of them could see. Kathy, too, began to change. She would wake up covered in bruises, her body racked with pain, claiming that something had attacked her in her sleep. One night, while lying in bed, Kathy was horrified to find that her body had transformed in the mirror. Her face had aged dramatically, as though something was draining the life from her. The next moment, she was back to normal, but the experience left her shaken. George began hearing disembodied voices calling out to him from the basement, telling him to get out. The once happy family was slowly crumbling, and the house seemed to thrive on their fear. The Lutzes were now prisoners in their own home, at the mercy of whatever dark forces lurked within. The breaking point came one terrifying night, just 28 days after they had moved in. The Lutzes could no longer deny what was happening. Dark shadows moved through the house, doors slammed shut on their own, and unearthly screams filled the air. George found himself unable to move as invisible hands seemed to grab at him, pulling him deeper into the house. Meanwhile, Kathy felt an overwhelming sense of dread, as though she was being suffocated by an unseen force. The family fled the house that night, leaving all of their belongings behind, desperate to escape with their lives. The Lutzes moved far away from Amityville, but the events of those 28 days stayed with them forever. They claimed they had been haunted by an evil presence, a malevolent force that had been awakened by the DeFeo murders and now sought to claim more victims. They went public with their story, and soon after, the Amityville Horror became a best-selling book, followed by several movies that captured the public's imagination. But the question remains, was it all true? Skeptics argue that the Lutzes fabricated the entire story as a way to profit off the tragedy of the DeFeo family. Investigators found no physical evidence of hauntings or demonic activity in the house, and some believe the Lutzes simply suffered from stress and fear after moving into a house with such a dark history. Even so, the Lutz family has maintained that everything they experienced was real. To this day, the house at 112 Ocean Avenue still stands, although its address has been changed to deter curious onlookers. The subsequent owners have reported no paranormal activity, but the legend of the Amityville Horror lives on, inspiring countless books, documentaries, and movies. Whether or not you believe the Lutz's story, one thing is certain. Something dark lingers in the legacy of that house. Was it a haunting? A case of mass hysteria? Or could it be something even more sinister? Something that we may never fully understand? One thing's for sure, some places are better left alone. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more haunting stories. I'd love to hear from you, so let me know in the comments. Do you like the voice I'm using, or would you prefer a different style? And do captions make the experience better for you? Your feedback helps shape the channel, so let me know what you think.